So this is a passage from The Total Mess, which I've been continuing to read. Conversations with other students, other practitioners here. So this part of this paragraph says, projections of river of blood karma have nothing to do with what's happening here. Your parents' dreams, born of their imperfection and unenlightenment, have nothing to do with what's happening here. River of blood karma is the obstacle course before you. It is this feeling of uncertainty and unknowingness. It is your search for escape in the form of ambitiousness, which is a form of neuroses. Neuroses of mechanical desires, neuroses of self-bondage, self-suffering, and self-defeat. One of unenlightened restlessness, which is nothing more than the will of the mother to be other than herself. So my question stemming from this is, in order to reach, enlightenment, or is it necessary to get completely beyond the family?
Well, not so much the family and people, but suffering. Suffering. Yeah. Yeah. The obstruction is suffering, and that's holding on to unnecessary karma. Right? Karma, conditions, patterns, feelings, thoughts, memories, fears, and so on. Things are shutting down of the potential of the soul, which is brightness, and self is darkness, let's say, relatively speaking. The limiter on the soul's capability and potential. So, anything that is, and so we use the word family, that we inherit, that is really about building your ego and making you actually less. You have a bigger ego, but you're actually less, sometimes less spiritually than you know. But you're being told, no, you can't do, you got to do this. You have to do this, but you can't. See, as soon as you have all these can'ts hammering you over the head and kicking you in the rear, you can't, man. You're not supposed to, man. You're not getting any bigger. Especially when you're a kid, you're being shaped and molded into this sort of like fear bag. Big fear. So can I do that? Should I eat this? Is it purple candy? Is it okay to eat this? Grandma said no, but Grandpa says eat a lot of them. Normal. See, so you have all this stuff and confusion, and it's not any of it is right. But the thing is, you're expected to conform to it. That's the problem. What are you conforming to? What are you being made into? See, by the family could be great. You could be made into a virtuoso if you're in a musical family, or a great carpenter if you're in a carpentry family, a great architect, a great lawyer, a great doctor. See, a great human. It depends on who's giving you the freedom to grow and in what way, and where you are as an individual served by, let's say, the influences in your environment towards good and expansion of intelligence. So you learn more, let's say. Because fear sometimes is being given to you, and it shows up as a beating that you had earlier, so you're afraid of certain things. So you've been beaten down by too much expectation from others and conformity. So we have to balance that somehow. But not everybody's as extreme as I'm indicating. We have people who are more, normal, see, and can handle being beaten down and don't take it personally. Say, oh yeah, that's from my father, my mother. Now the teachers are telling me, now my girlfriend's talking to me the same thing. I don't pay any attention to it. I let it go in one ear and out the other ear. See, and that may be the safest way. See, not believing what they're telling you, but proving it to yourself, which is what, let's say, practitioners try to do. Right? Those who want the truth. Say, I heard that, but I don't know that. I heard about Jesus, I heard about the Buddha, I heard about all these great people, and well, I don't know that because I wasn't there. I have no idea who's telling the truth about any of that. So you have to feel it out and see what applies to you as an individual, but you don't know for sure, see, because that's coming from the time world, right, of information. And so, but we are each wired for direct realization beyond the time world, direct to spirit, if you're open to that and maybe, resonant with that and say, I'm yours. Show me. Tell me what it is. I need help down here. There's nobody here. Can't find a guru. I can't find a guide. And so we are connected with that. Comment?
Yeah, I mean, so basically if a relative, or I mean a parent, if they're not getting their information from a direct source or a direct spiritual source or teacher or master, guru, then all of their, basically what you're learning from them is...
Yeah, we're talking about universally proven or true sources
of
of wisdom that are more or less laid out in most of the philosophies and religions of the world, especially at the core, right? At the core, the sources have a lot in common. Even though the agents for the messages have different karma, right? And so they have to go by way of their karma. Not everyone that gets crucified to the cross, they die differently. But in the case of Jesus, which is unique, he knew about it, and that's what he chose to go with, because it seemed like he wanted an early out. It seemed like he had enough of it, right? Was willing to do whatever he had to do to honor his relationship to the higher, or the divine, or the reality, and then, share that kind of demonstration as a selfless being for the sake of his own, who in turn could either accept that as their way or not. And even if they chose his way as their way, doesn't mean they're going to get the same results. Because it's not about acting like anybody else. That is the way it is. You have to act the way it is given to you to act. Not by your mother, your father, your grandparents, or your friends, or your girlfriends, or men, or whatever, but by you and what that is in you that connects with the highest level of intelligence, wisdom, or expression.
Yeah, so it could even come from somebody just reading a book about the Buddha and saying...
Oh yeah, it's not about the book.
Right.
It's about your alignment with the spiritual. And you read a word and it can fling you to another universe. And it's not what you wanted to do, but it depends on how you're wired. Right? Because you have people, I've been in a lot of the different works and dharmas, right, traditions, and then, a newcomer comes in and then they get the message just like they already know it. And people get bent out of shape. What? She just got here. And already she's in love with the gurus and whatever, and she's being treated like because of her resonance. So it's not personal. It depends on what a person is ready to leap into that determines what appears to be favoritism, but it's just, resonance. Resonance. Not persuasion, but if you're resonating properly with it, you can relate to it, you can get it, and you can zoom past everybody else depending on your resonance. That's the secret. It's no secret. Thank you.